Dear teachers and fellow students, good morning. I'm Wang Yu. I'm very glad to have the opportunity to present my research today. The title of research I'm presenting is Metaphors in Chinese and American News on Global Warming. The first part is introduction. The issue of climate change is a major global concern, with global warming being the most prominent. After decades of news coverage, global warming has become one of the most important scientific and technological issues for the international community. Thus, the study of news reports related to global warming is a worthwhile research project. Cognitive linguistics has argued that metaphor is essentially a cognitive phenomenon, as has important cognitive functions. Hence, interpreting metaphors in news reports provides insight into the ideologies behind them and how news reports influence people's perception of this issue. A wide range of studies has been researched from this perspective. However, currently, from a metaphorical perspective, the comparative analysis of a global warming news in China and the US are few in number, which is also the entry point for this study. This study attempts to analyze conceptual metaphors in Chinese and American news reports on global warming with the aim to determine the similarities and differences and interpret them to find out the two countries' attitudes toward this issue. It helps us to understand how the news media constructs the important discourse on global warming, reveals the ideas, and influences people's perceptions. The second part is methodology. This study takes the qualitative research approach, which aims to identify, interpret, and explain metaphors used in news reports concerning global warming. The materials are collected from the websites of the two newspapers, China Daily and New York Times. The keywords global warming is typed in the search box, and the latest, most relevant 5 pieces of news in each newspaper are collected as research materials in this study. As for data collection, the ecological metaphors analyzed in this study follow the definition by Lakoff and Johnson. And the identification of metaphors follows the metaphor identification procedure, and UAM Corpus 206 is used for manual annotation. Data analysis follows the analytical framework of critical metaphor analysis, which includes metaphor identification, metaphor interpretation, and metaphor explanation. The third part is findings and discussion. In this study, 2 major types of metaphors are identified in Chinese and American news, which are war metaphor and human metaphor. A range of expressions related to war metaphors are found to be active when describing the effect of global warming and disasters, such as these words in Chinese news and these words in American news. In terms of conceptual metaphors, generally speaking, there are more types of them in American news. In Chinese news, there are conceptual metaphors like temperature is danger, temperature is difficulty, sunshine is danger. Besides what have been found in Chinese news, conceptual metaphors like global warming is war, temperature is damage, and the normal one, global warming is shield, are also found in American corpus. These are some examples from the 2 corpora. The war metaphors identified in this study suggest global warming is attacking and killing human beings and homes. In both countries' news, they consider the sunshine, the heat, and the temperatures enemies to human, something human needs to shield and be protected from. Although through these metaphors they show humans' resolution in solving this problem actively, They're not eco-friendly as they declare a war against nature, instead of dealing with this issue in a more peaceful way. Human metaphors are also found in this study, where the globe and nations are described using words with human traits, like experience, undergo in Chinese news, and suffocate in American news. In terms of conceptual metaphors, the metaphorical expressions can be generalized as nation is human, globe is human in Chinese news, and the conceptual metaphor nation is human is found in American news. These are some examples from the two corpora. In these cases, the news describe nations suffering from the effects of global warming like human beings, which can give readers a sense of personal experience and evoke recognition. In one way, this kind of metaphor sees a nation as a unified whole. But in another way, these metaphorical expressions bring the nation to the opposite side of nature. It is worth noting that in Chinese news, it also describes the globe as a human being who is experiencing things. We treat the globe as a living organism that is also suffering. This kind of metaphor brings empathy from readers and evokes attention to the environmental protection. Thus, in this sense, it is an eco-friendly metaphor that should be promoted. The last part is conclusion. Firstly, two major kinds of metaphors are identified in this study, the war metaphor and human metaphor. A series of ecological metaphors are found in both Chinese and American news, and differences exist in metaphorical expressions and some novel conceptual metaphors. In the war metaphor, both nations' news establish a confrontational relationship between human and global warming, while American news show more variety in establishing this relationship. In human metaphor, both nations' news treat the nation as a human being who is suffering from the effects of global warming, while in Chinese news there also exist metaphors that describe the globe as a human. Secondly, by applying metaphors in news, it could arouse readers' attention to global warming to some extent. But some metaphors are not so eco-friendly, such as the war metaphor. And metaphors describing the globe as a living organism should be promoted as they treat nature as a member of the human world and one we should care for and protect. Hopefully, further studies will be conducted in this perspective to construct a more positive ecological perspective on this issue. Last but not least, I'd like to thank the organizers in the Faculty of Social Sciences and Humanities and Language Academy for this great conference, and my supervisor, Dr. Hadina, who has helped me and guided me through the journey of this research. Please kindly enlighten me with your valuable advice. Thank you.